Hi, my name is Sylvia Lawson, and I'll be covering the case of the Fordosaurus. So basically, an overview of the case, 1990s Ford came out with the Excursion. It was a big car on the road, 8,500 pounds, 19 feet long, heavy-duty truck slash SUV. It was classified as a medium-duty truck because of its size, and it got 10 to 15 miles per gallon. The Excursion actually emitted 43% less than the maximum emission for its class. Environmentalists still had a problem with this. They claimed that it would emit 130 tons of carbon dioxide over its lifetime. Some by the criticism of the Excursion, Ford vowed to make this company more environmentally responsible. So an update, Ford's promise in August of 2000, Ford promised to improve the fuel economy of its SUVs by 25% over the next 5 years. 2005, they didn't make up to that promise, sadly, but in more recent years, they have made a hybrid gas-electric car called the Ford Escape, which is a mini type of SUV. And Ford is now working on developing a hydrogen engine for future cars. Should environmentalists be concerned about SUVs' impact on the environment? I think they should be to an extent. Actually, 21% of all carbon dioxide emissions are only from transport. And of that 21%, 45% of that makes up road passenger vehicles such as cars, motorcycles, buses, and taxis. So in reality, SUVs' impact on the environment is just a small fraction of all CO2 emissions. So I don't know if all of our concern should be in that area. So the demand for larger vehicles, I think consumers have a large demand because of the safety, seating capacity, and travel efficiency of SUVs. With higher gas prices, naturally, people will want more fuel-efficient cars, but I think the demand for SUVs will always be an impact in Americans. So when Ford came out with the Excursion, I don't think their intentions were to make a profit. I mean, to an extent, to make it a profit, but it wasn't at the cost of the environment. So each Excursion was sold for a profit of $20,000 for Ford, and they claimed that it was 43% below the maximum emissions for its class, and 85% of the Excursion was recyclable, and 20% came from recycled metal. So in their eyes, I don't think they are trying to harm the environment in any way, but obviously with the amount of CO2 emission, environmentalists did have a problem with it. My vote, if I was on the board of directors, I would have probably went ahead and voted for this project just because the high profit margin range. But it wasn't, in the time of production, wasn't thought of as harming the environment. They were just producing a heavy duty SUV, and it was below the maximum requirements for CO2 emissions. Ford stockholders' rights, I think they have a right to produce what is most profitable, but not at the cost of the environment. All businesses must play their part, obviously, in taking measures and limits to the amount of pollution their products produce. So that always has to be kept into account. Environmental responsibilities of automakers obviously go above and beyond what government restrictions and incentives are. I think they can possibly cut low on carbon dioxide emissions, mainly by using aluminum in their cars to cut down on fuel intake and creates an easily recyclable car. So Ford, I don't think Ford was responding to consumer demand for. They were responding for the demand of consumers. I don't think they were trying to shape the consumers' wants in any way. People value safety, seating capacity, and easy to travel, like I said before. And Ford responded to the demand of SUVs with the Escape, which is an eco-friendly gas-electric hybrid, more in recent times. Should there be tighter pollution restrictions on SUVs? The government, I don't think they should discourage the production of SUVs. Honestly, Americans are buying larger cars and taking more flights than ever before, and the domestic aviation emissions have grown between 2012 and 2016. When gas prices are lower, naturally people will drive more, and that produces more CO2 emissions within the air. And automotive companies should feel a need, I think, to be better for future generations. The government can help push eco-friendly cars by making the public more aware and educating us more, so the want for that will be of higher demand. I don't think it depends on the customer of if it's environmentally responsible or not to drive an SUV. If you're super environmentally friendly and want to do that, then you can buy a more eco-friendly car that's maybe electric. So it depends on the needs of the customer, but the needs of America, semi-trucks already emit almost 300 or 530 million tons of carbon dioxide. But will we limit the cargo transportation? No, because it's a need. Ford Excursion is not a practical car, I don't think today, just because of the low mileage and the abundance of CO2. Therefore, if it was me personally, I probably would drive the hybrid version of it, the Escape. And Jesus, would Jesus drive? I think he would drive the Ford Escape. Gas electric hybrid ranges from 37 to 44 miles per gallon and is dependable on any road trip. So that's what I think he would drive. And here are my references. Overall, I think the Ford Excursion was, in today's eyes, not the best car to produce, just about how much heavy weight it was and how much CO2 emissions. I think for Ford moving forward, just moving more towards the hydrogen engines possibly and more gas/electric cars to make more eco-friendly for the environment. So thank you.